This is IA Forward, your playbook for success as an independent insurance agent. Now, here to help you knock it out of the ballpark are your hosts, Shane Tatum, Tanya Lead, Mike Basil, and Robbie Jabor.
Welcome to IA Forward. Mike, Robbie, and I are so blessed with the opportunity to be the backup singers to the fabulous Shane Tatum.
Well, I'm glad to have you. It's very difficult to find really good backup singers. And, you got to compliment the lead singer. And here we are. And, that's the kind of team we have. So.
Yes, because you are a words of affirmation kind of guy.
I am.
And so while you're not a rah-rah guy, we do have to tell you how amazing you are on a very regular basis.
I don't think that's true anymore, actually. I do know that so what Tanya's referring to for the rest of the audience is the 5 love languages, right? And when my wife and I did this 25 years ago, I was words of affirmation was my number 1 love language. And you rank your love language 1 through 5. My wife's number 5 love language was words of affirmation, right? So evidently in our earlier years of marriage, I needed her to tell me how great of a husband I was. And she needed me to not have to ever say how great of a husband I was. And so this is how God's humor, matches people up and says, these are the 2 people that I think should get married. So
the cute boy and I are actually the same way. His number 1 is my number 5 and vice versa. So yeah.
I really think I've gravitated. I don't know that I need that as much anymore. But I know people, I know a lot of people that need that. And sometimes that can come in different ways. What's really funny is I'm the world's worst at telling people, hey, you did great. Hey, you did a good job. Like, I'm terrible at that. Absolutely.
Is anyone else shocked by this statement?
Some of you
but
are
just
on
to
the
let
call.
you know, there is a 5 love languages for the workplace book. I've tried to read it twice and didn't make it through about the first 2 chapters, but they did write one. So
feels a little touchy feely these days. Yeah. What are we talking about?
We're talking about our takeaways from the INA conference. Last week, we did a first session on this, but there were so many really fantastic takeaways from that event that we are doing a follow-up on that. Now, these aren't necessarily things that are about the event themselves, but it's things that we learned there, conversations that we had, and things that we wanted to bring home and share with our audience.
Yeah. I don't remember what we talked about last week because I don't remember what I talked about yesterday. But I do know that the INA conference was wonderful. I think one of the things that might have been on your list as you help us kind of coordinate this conversation today is the one that really stood out to me was, how to get your competition fired. I thought that was really interesting, and I hadn't really thought about that. Like, I really haven't put a lot of energy into that thought, but when that kind of topic came up, it resonated. It made sense.
And the whole thing was how to get your competition fired without talking bad about them, which is actually the title of a book. I have downloaded it. I haven't read it yet because this was last week and I've slept at least twice since then. But yeah, I had never thought about the concept, and some of the ideas were really fantastic on that.
You must spend a lot of time at the bookstore. I feel like every episode you say, there's a book by this name, and most of the time you've read it. And I'm over here like,
I don't know who that is.
I don't even know where the closest bookstore is at.
Well, my goal is to read 100 books a year. So that's, little over 2, or almost 2 a week, whatever. So yeah, I do.
Awesome.
But I don't go to a bookstore that often. I just usually download them to my Kindle or to my Audible. Unless there's a book signing and it's someone that I want to meet, then I'll actually physically go.
Mike doesn't deserve this jab, but like you're going to have to replace the reading time with the video games are going to have to take a side swipe, right? And you're going to have to do the reading instead of playing some video games, Mike.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, you've nailed it right there.
Are you a gamer, Mike?
No. Right now it's just
but we got the gamer chair going on.
Yeah.
Well, hey, this thing is legit. Okay. I could recline all the way back if one of you starts getting a little too long-winded.
That would be Shane.
I mean, 100 of anything. I don't know. Like,
that's a lot.
Yeah.
I'd be doing good if I read one book a year.
So we have.
Well, Shane gives us 2 to 3 to read a year.
Yeah, they don't read them. They show up with their no. They don't read them. That just because I give them the books doesn't mean they read the books, right? I mean, I get it. Like Tanya's 100 books a year. Like I probably start 20 books a year. I probably don't finish but about 3. But you know, not everyone's a reader, consumer. I mean, that is a trait. I mean, if you want to get into some things there, that's a whole nother topic is how important reading. And I would even move to self-serving a little bit, but it's true. Listening, right? Like maybe you're not a reader, but maybe you're a listener, like a podcast, like, or you listen to books, right? Or, you know, something. I think there's just this idea of constantly learning that comes from either reading books, listening to podcasts, listening to documentaries of some sort, something, right? Listening to books. And I probably listen about 80% of my consumption versus traditional reading.
Mine's about half and half.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when you say read books, this, you know, for clarification, you're talking about listening and reading, right? Would
Yes.
that be accurate?
Yes. At 100% accurate. Yes.
So that
Yes.
helps how you can actually do that. Like, I don't know, but I saw my wife post on her Instagram story the other day that all the books she had read in January. And I'm like, good grief. Like, that's crazy. I mean, it was like 7 books or something like that in January. So
Does reading fantasy football magazines count?
could.
It's learning.
It's learning.
Mike and I probably would take the cake on that. I'm just guessing. Tanya's really good at fantasy football, but I don't know that she's into reading about stuff like that. But
Is that a real thing?
Yes.
100%.
Studying, reading
Yes.
fantasy football magazine, that's a
Oh,
real
yeah.
thing. You're not joking. Like, that's real.
There's also podcasts, many
On
podcasts
fantasy
There's a lot of
sports.
podcasts.
dedicated to fantasy football.
There's
Oh my
fantasy
God.
football advice podcasts. Yes.
It's not
Yes.
real.
It's real awesome.
Yeah.
What are you talking about is not real.
Oh, my soul. You're running a fake team. It doesn't exist, right?
But they're real people.
It does for some of us. Especially when you get the championship belt or ring or necklace when you win the league.
So you're chasing trophies. Okay. I got
Yeah.
it. They're
The
important.
giant sparkly ring that I can wear as a bracelet.
That's right.
I'm gonna get in trouble.
Back to INA and what we learned in the conversations that we had. One of the ones that I really liked was the idea of association selling. A lot of our integral partner agents do this with realtors. I know that Brian Poole in Deer Park, Texas, is fantastic at this. That he really aligns himself with with realtors in that Houston area. He's a part of different real estate organizations. He goes in, he speaks, he hosts open houses for them. He's a part of their Christmas show every year. He's very much involved with the associations there. But the conversations that we had at INA took that one step further in looking at referrals and asking for referrals in a different way. And it was more of looking at the people that your clients are associated with on LinkedIn or with a book of faces, on Insta, and seeing if those are people that you want to do business with, and actually asking, in what way could you help me really get to know this person? What can you tell me about this person? And usually when it's what can you tell me? I'm trying to grow my business. Not only will that person share information, they will create a warm lead for you. I think they said 8 out of 10 times. It sounds like stalking.
It does, but it works, right?
It works.
It kind of does when you put it like that, but it works. I'll say this. I have had in the last couple of months, just different people just reach out and say, hey, any chance that I could come visit, sit down with you, pick your brain about something? And there's not one time that I've said no to that, right? Like if somebody's willing to make that investment to get to know me, to ask about our business, now they may have ulterior motives. I don't know. But in the end, if they're willing to put that investment in, I'm willing to give my time and I'm willing to have that conversation. Number one, I enjoy meeting new people. I enjoy getting to know what they're doing, how they're thinking about business. And I think that's a big part of what this kind of comes down to is connections, right? It's kind of the center of influence on, supercharged version of center of influence.
Yeah. So
the psychology of I'm sorry, go ahead, Mike.
I was just going to say, just so we're clear, we're talking about focusing efforts, right? There's only so much time and energy and dollars you can put into marketing. So this is all a conversation around, getting to people. And if you can get to people that have similar interests or a warm lead, you're just so far ahead of the game.
Yeah, I think so. I think so 100%.
From a psychology of selling standpoint, when you make someone feel important, when you acknowledge them as a subject matter expert, they automatically have those warm feelings towards you, right? You are setting up a warm lead for yourself. And not only are you learning something, you're helping someone feel important. And to be able to walk away from that and be a connector. So if someone calls you and says, hey, I need more information about X, Y, and Z, well, now I can send this person I just connected with this lead, and then it turns into a very cyclical, reciprocal process while you're learning. So yeah, great sales technique.
I think the thing here that's really important is you truly have to be interested. Like I've met the people who are faking it. I've met the people who are trying to fake their way into that interest level. It doesn't work. It comes through. It shows, right? You have to truly give first or invest first and be willing to somewhat be vulnerable there, somewhat be rejected. And I'm not saying this is going to work 100% of the time, but if you are truly interested in helping that other person, in associating yourself with what they're doing, and having them associate with what you're doing, and there's a genuine interest, then it could lead to really great stuff. But the minute that you're just trying to do it to just get something from it, that's when it's going to backfire.
People don't understand our business. They truly don't. I'm not sure that I understand our business after almost 9 years, right? Still learning every day. But we touch everything that's out there. And so being able to ask a person and saying, does your organization need speakers? Every organization needs speakers. They do. I promise. And you are a subject matter expert when it comes to insurance. And if you can explain the basics in real people speak, people are going to do business with you. So that asking for those speaking opportunities, even if you're going to tell me, Tanya, I'm not a great public speaker, it's okay.
Just don't say
Don't say
That's it. That's just the rule. There's one rule. Just don't say
I'm kidding. I had to. So
No, it's great.
I know that was good. I just had to do that. Dad joke intended. What's really interesting about that is the people who think they're not capable of that or not able to do that. When you know your stuff, right? When you are truly invested in your business, you're the insurance agent, you're the insurance expert. You are better than you think, right? Like you're talking to a group of people most of the time who don't know your business, who don't know the industry that you're in when you're doing association, when you're working in this space. Even if you're fumbling your way through it, you're still going to have way more knowledge and you're going to leave a way better impression than you will give yourself credit for. Even those that just are totally uncomfortable speaking, when you get down into what you know, right? You know, I'm talking to a realtor. My realtor friend that I've connected with has brought me into the Realtor Association luncheon to talk about, the issues with roofs in Texas. And if you're writing homeowners insurance in the state of Texas, you understand the roofing issue. And so you are automatically going to be the subject matter expert in the room, and you're going to do well. Even if you don't think you do well, you're going to do well.
Yeah,
if you can explain the difference in comprehensive and collision insurance at the Lions Club, I'm telling you, you're going to get business because people don't know what that means. We're not talking about speaking at something at a super high level. Tell people what they're paying for, make them understand it, and they're going to be your client.
Yeah, don't we do that to a certain degree, Shane? Doesn't our retail meet with real estate agents locally? We've seen fruits of that, haven't we?
We have, and we've seen some of our people who would say they were uncomfortable with that process do it anyway and get business because they raised their hand. They stepped forward. Just getting over that fear of, feeling dumb or feeling like you're going to make a fool of yourself. Like that's the issue, right? You have to be willing to step forward and you have to be willing to take that leap of faith, and it's going to end up better than you think. I think that's the encouragement that I want to give everyone, is that you will do fine by this. And then the more you do it, guess what? Just like anything else in life, the better you get at it. I was a terrible, maybe I still am at times, I don't know, but I was a terrible podcast guy in the beginning, in my view, my own self view. Like I had to, like I said, I had to speak to myself in voice memos and then listen to myself in order to get better at saying things. But when we get on a topic that I'm passionate about, which helping insurance agents be better, helping agents build agencies, I have zero problems talking about that. I can talk about that spur of the moment. Somebody call me up, hey, can you be here in 30 minutes and talk about starting an insurance agency? No prep, no nothing, just go. Yes, I can. Because the longer you do it, the better you get at it.
One of the suggestions that I heard being made was figure out what you're good at and then either use a DBA or creating a specific LLC and market as that. For instance, that they used was Tennis Pros Insurance, and they marketed specifically to everything having to do with tennis. They went to trade shows and they marketed everything from anything that you could possibly imagine specifically for people that were interested in tennis, regular P&C, home, auto, toys, anything. But they would go to different tennis events, right? They would go to different, they would advertise in tennis magazines, on tennis social media groups. And they said that works really well. I know that we have an agent in Atlanta, Georgia that does this, and Atlanta Premier Insurance, Miss Elaine does this a great deal and has had really good success with it. And so this is something that I don't know if is for everyone, but if there's something that you're really involved in, I think this could be a great way to market yourself.
I'm interested to hear everybody's take on this one because I don't know. I'm a little on the fence about this one because what's the difference between, okay, I'm going to go out and make this other LLC, I'm going to have this other name. I mean, are you really going to go with two different names and do things differently? Or, I mean, is that a different result than just taking your, Mike Basil Insurance and putting a radio ad on the 30-minute golf show that's on Saturday mornings on the radio? Do we think there's an additional value to going through that extra piece?
I think that maybe not, right? Like, so I think you can do it without going that far. And I think that was just kind of the suggestion from the speaker from the at the conference. But like, you don't have to go to the LLC level, right? Now, if you want to, I think where that would go and maybe be beneficial is, what if it takes off and you need to do some trademarking and you need to do some, just some things around protecting the brand? I mean, what if you're writing, I'm just making this up. What if you hit an incredible area and you write $100 million worth of premium because of this thing? Well, now it's got huge value. And if you don't have some kind of, trademark marketing protection, well, then people are just going to try to knock that off and you have no protections whatsoever. You don't have to do that, right? Like, you don't have to start there. Like, you can start with a website. Like, you can own a domain. We actually own, I'm going to get these wrong because I haven't looked at them in a long time, but we actually own flowershopinsurance.com. We own a few other things like that because way back we looked at this. Like, we looked at small town. This is before the agency network days. This was in the dawn of the internet, right? Yes, I'm that old. But it's like, well, how do we capture this? How do we maybe find a niche that we can maybe go wide geographically, maybe countrywide even? And there was some talk 25 years ago around capturing some of those domains, website addresses, and being able to do some things. Now, underneath the hood, it can be Mike Basil Insurance, right? It can be, Flower Shop insurance.com, but the legal entity is Mike Basil Insurance LLC. And as long as you maybe are complying with the requirements in your state may require you to file a DBA to market yourself as flowershopinsurance.com, right? Because there may be regulatory issues there. But as far as setting up a whole nother entity and setting up going that far, no, I don't think you have to go there. I think you can if you see some reason to.
And I think also I think there's a couple different directions you can go with this too, right? There's the one where I don't know why I'm using golf. I don't even play golf, but staying with the golf, there could be the one where you're going after golf courses or golf simulators. Like it's more of a commercial play where you're looking for, all of those types of things. But the other direction that was also touched on in this is just that connection to the person that's calling you. Like they just call in and you can have a brief conversation about golf before you start talking about the insurance, because you've only got that 2 or 3 minutes to make a connection with this person before you start talking about the actual insurance piece. And that's super valuable, I think, right? If they're going to call 5 different agents for a quote and you make some sort of personal connection with them up front in the conversation, you are putting yourself at the top of the list.
Well, I think also thinking about it in the sense of how do you keep them from even calling those 4 other agents, because you're marketing in and around a segment of the population that you can relate to. And because you become known as the insurance agent in that circle, you're the only guy that gets called. That's like the best place to be. And this wasn't anything I did intentionally. It happened for a little while, and it was actually while we were trying to build our agent network. So it was actually not the thing I was trying to do. But when I was really, really heavy in the travel softball world, it became known that I was an insurance agent, and I started getting insurance questions at tournaments, by other parents. And the next thing you know, a friend on another team, hey, my friend plays for the Bombers over there. I was telling them that you were an insurance agent. They had a question. Do you mind talking to them? And the next thing you know, and of course, this is not the time of my life where I have this hat on. Like, we're at about 50 member partners at that time. I'm trying to build the agent network. I am literally trying to not sell insurance personally. And so, however, if I would have been in my previous setting, retail insurance agent, this would have been a gold mine. Like, I could have tapped into this a lot and really done really, really well, because as it turned out, there were very few, ironically, insurance agents in the travel softball world, at least that I was traveling in within our circles. There was a CPA. I knew the CPA really well. He was another coach in our organization. And I asked him some CPA questions, right? Like, it's like he's doing the same thing. And so where are you that you can associate, where you can be the expert? I mean, this is phenomenal stuff to me.
I wonder if you guys won any games. You were talking about everything but softball.
That's right. I mean, that's why I probably got too many people thrown out on third.
Ridiculous.
One of the things that I can remember when my first sales managers would instruct me to do when I would go in, and this is speaking to our folks that are starting out in commercial, would be that when I would go into someone's office, go into someone's space, that the first thing that I should do would be try to commit everything I see to memory. What do their pictures look like? What do the pictures of their children look like? What sports memorabilia do they have on their walls? What clubs and organizations do they belong to? And then as soon as my meeting would be over, I would sit in my car and I would write all of that down. And then I would figure out, okay, what connections do I have naturally that I can make, right? And I kind of took this a little bit further because that's something that we're naturally going to do, right? But I took that a little bit further at networking events because while Mike does not believe this, I truly am an introvert. And so when I would get someone's business card, I would grab my pen out of my purse and write down maybe 2 or 3 things they said. But if they had on really great shoes, or if they had on a cool blouse, or if they mentioned that their kids played on a travel ball team, or they mentioned that they were going to the LSU Alabama game that weekend, I would specifically write down on those business cards anything that they said that I could connect with. And that sounds so simplistic, but I couldn't remember those things the next day. So I had to do it right then, maybe like step out in the hallway or I'd go over to the corner or whatever and write things down. But then I had that warm way to talk with them later. It wasn't that I was trying to manufacture something, but my brain doesn't comprehend remembering those kinds of things if I meet 20 people in a minute.
Yeah. First of all, I don't know why I'm taking strays. That was Robbie, not me. Okay.
Yeah, the introvert comment.
But to that point, like, when you're talking to a prospect, I do the same thing, Tanya. Like, we have our management system. I will go in there and put notes in after a call, say, oh, this person is into whatever, baseball, or this person told me they have kids around the same age as mine. And I think that's really powerful when you can go back in a second conversation 3 weeks later and you can just casually mention something about those notes and then we'll resonate with them like, okay, this person pays attention when I talk.
Mm-hmm. It's the power of storytelling too, that if it's something that you've experienced that has a connection with what they're doing, it automatically creates that warm and fuzzy that facts and figures never will.
Well, we tend to attract at the Integra Partner Network a fair amount of former athletes. And I don't know if that's accidental. I don't know if that's connected though, right? Like, and in a lot of those cases, several of them were baseball players. So there is some connection there. Mike mentioned, connection there. Do this person likes baseball? Who's to say that there's not a whole thing there that's natural for you? You are able as an agent to, maybe it's a season of life where you are coaching Little League, where you are involved in something that you have a passion about outside of your business. And we know that everyone has that. Like, everyone has a passion for something outside of work. I don't care who you are. I just do not believe that there's anyone out there that is like, oh no, the only thing I'm passionate about is my business. That's not true, right? You have a passion for your family. You have a passion for your something. Pickleball's all the rage. I haven't gotten into it, but you're out there, right? Your people. Seth Godin talks about this in a book called Tribes. Your people are waiting on you. There you go, Mike. Tribes. It's a short book with big words. You're good, right? You can handle it. I promise.
It's going to have pictures, right?
No pictures though. No pictures. Tribes is a big, push for this. There are people that that are waiting on you. They're waiting on you to connect with them and possibly become their insurance expert, right? And subject matter expert around insurance in their circle. And their circle reaches other people. Like, you don't even have to have a huge circle or a huge tribe here. Like, your people will help you connect to other people.
Robbie, you used to be really heavily, you used to be involved very heavily in our retail organization at one point. How did you train your people to do this?
That's a great question. That was a long time ago. But I always, gosh, I was never, I was good at sales. I don't know that I was good at training, but I was good at sales, but it wasn't because I was good at selling. It was because I was good at building relationships. And so I would earn clients' trust, and they would look at me more of as an advisor than someone just selling them a product, right? Like explaining to them why they need it, why it's important, those things. But everything everybody is saying is right. You know, there are little things that help you connect with people that is probably the biggest differentiator in why somebody would do business with you over somebody else. I mean, if they're just another number, then the likelihood of them feeling like they shouldn't leave is low, right? So, yeah, I mean, I think it's a huge part of what you build as whatever business it is.
And wrapping that back to something we touched on in the last podcast and earlier today, you can't use all these insurance lingo terms and expect people to really connect with that. You gotta say things in a way that everybody understands what you're saying, but you're also not talking down to people. And that's a talent. That's if you don't have that already, if you weren't gifted with that talent, that's something you have to really cultivate and get yourself trained in as quickly as possible.
Yeah, and it starts with making people feel welcome, right? If they come in and there's not a barrier there, I got to go talk to the insurance guy again. You know, if they feel welcome when they show up, it's much easier to identify those things that help you build those relationships.
We listened to one session at the INA conference that I know it drove Tanya crazy. The first 10 minutes was insurance acronym after an acronym, right? And that we get ourselves in trouble with that, where we forget that our customer doesn't know. And it doesn't mean that you should talk down to them, but what it means is you should talk in layman's terms. You should leave the insurance speak at the door. And that's really hard. And that's kind of when you're in it all day and you're talking to underwriters or you're talking to your teammates and you're like, you know, PIP and UM and BIPD, and you're just doing all this stuff. And you're like, because it's natural, right? You're talking in your own language within the circles of insurance, but your customer has no idea what you're talking about. Like when you even say physical damage, you got to go further, right? Hey, when you hit somebody or when a tree falls on your car, like go to the story or the relational verbiage that people can go, oh, okay. And if you go to that event and speak as the subject matter expert and you talk like that, people are going to gravitate to you because no one else does that. The rest of the world talks in legalese and is fearful because we've been trained, right? E&O, loss control. We've been trained that we've got to say certain things in a certain way. Well, no, you don't. You need to speak that language that your consumer speaks. If you need to validate or verify something, do that in writing with the legalese. Okay? That's fine. You need to follow up that conversation with an email or a letter or whatever it is your agency does. Yes, always follow it up in writing. Understand that. But talk to them like the normal human being that they probably are. And that means they don't understand insurance. They don't understand anything about insurance.
I think people sometimes have this notion that if they don't use those terms, they're going to sound unintelligent or uneducated about the topic. And I just don't think that's true.
No.
Attorneys are very much being taught in law school in the last 20 to 25 years about plain language in the plain language movement and why it is so important to speak to people in words that they understand specifically for E&O purposes. Because if you're giving information and they don't understand a word you're saying, and then they sign, then there's actually some real challenges there. So this goes beyond building relationships. It's actually helping people do what they need to do, and you be able to run your business the way you need to be able to run your business. I love this topic. I would really like for us to explore this further in a future podcast. I know Shane and I did one about 42,000 bazillion years ago, but would like to do that with the four of us really soon. I think it would have a really great effect to really help our listeners.
I'd like to give a shout out though to our retail folks here, because I hear those conversations that they have with clients, and I don't hear a lot of insurance speak when they're communicating. And so I think that they do an awesome job of, building relationships and having the type of conversations you need to have with clients.
The courts, not to go too much further on this, but the courts, the juries have said in precedents that the consumer doesn't understand. And as a licensed professional, as an insurance company, you're the expert, or the insurance company's the expert. And so what someone might be teaching in an E&O class, I don't know that that's actually accurate, right? Because you need to be able to speak to someone in the way that they can understand it. That then is better E&O protection than the legalese approach.
We had a fantastic time at INA in Tampa. Thank you to everyone that put so much effort into making the event happen, to all of the speakers, all of the carriers that we got to spend time with. Big shout out to Easy Links and Applied for hosting us at the hockey game. Can't wait till next year. And I'm going to leave us today with this quote from Abby Wambach. We don't win alone, and we don't grow alone either.
Attitude's a choice. Make a great one.
Bye, y'all.
At the Integra Partner Network, we understand that carrier access is the key to your agency's success. That's why Integra offers direct access to top-rated personal and commercial carriers, ensuring your agency thrives in today's challenging market. And with our comprehensive resources, profit sharing and bonus opportunities, technology and peer support, all while you retain 100% of your book with no penalties to exit. Integra is ready to empower you and your agency to find sustained growth. Find your way to Integra. Visit IntegraPartnerNetwork.com today. That's IntegraPartnerNetwork.com.